Once again, you are now tuned into the underground. My name is Mbaya. I go by the doctor. Today, what I have for you is another cut done with only Babyliss FX clipper and FX skeleton trimmer. So it's not really too much breaking down as far as how to go about this cut. It's more of just a follow along by watching what I am doing, and I'm going to also talk a bit about how to make sure if your client jumps chair, they know how to direct the barber, how to tell them what they need to do, or just get minimum work. If you do go to another barber, expect not to get that same quality that you get from your regular barber. Then there's times where going to your regular barber also means you're just going there because they have a cheap, affordable haircut. Sometimes it's a family member, it's a friend, and you're supporting them. I'm going to tell you right now, you do not have to go and get a haircut from somebody just because you feel obligated to support. You feel obligated to spend less for a haircut because that one number that you pay regularly has gone up. It's been increased. Anyways, listen. I just cut his hair down with a 1.5 against the grain with the clipper lever, going from open to closed eventually because I had to smooth it down and of course mold it into the head shape. Now, I know some of you are wondering why there's certain areas that are patched up. This is all intentional because I'm going to go over with the number 1 guard. Clipper lever going from open to closed eventually. I'm going to start going with the grain instead of against the grain. I'm going to go with the grain and start to follow the flow of the hair, starting from the crown, moving all the way around, flowing. And if you haven't heard me say this before in videos, the hair on the right side of the head, as you can see, I'm combing it in the direction that it flows, which is forward, slightly down on the side, and it comes back. Now, I know that's not very typical for you to hear, but that's just the way the hair flows along the side of the head on the right side. As for the left side, it goes forward along the side, then kind of slopes downward. This isn't always the case on everyone, but a majority of people have the same pattern. It's going from the colic, that crown swirl, the area that has that crown little swirl thing, the colic flows through the entire head in that same direction. I'm going to save this for a whole nother video, but as you can see, this is also keeping it dark enough along the edge to where I still have a overhang. And if you don't know by now, I'm not a big fan of enhancements. I use them, but I don't really post them. I'm actually going to possibly post a video of a enhanced haircut soon. As I switch over to my new air compressor, I will demonstrate how to go ahead and apply enhancements. Why not? Just for one time. And I'm going to have a story with that because the first video that I put out that went viral had to do with enhancements. Yeah, I know. I'm always yelling around these videos, all over the video, how I don't really like enhancements. I'm not being a hater whatsoever. It's just the first video that went viral literally had enhancements in it, and I couldn't believe it because it was just something to post. And there was a lesson with it too, based off of enhancements. And ever since that video, for some reason, I got discouraged a little bit to where I didn't want to post the enhanced haircuts anymore ever again, because it just seemed to take away from my art, my talent, which I've worked really hard to make sure that when I do the lineup, which is my favorite part, if you don't notice, now you know. If you're new to this channel, that's my favorite part of the haircut is the lineup. I have mastered how to make sure that that thing looks 3D without color. But, you know, everything that I do when I'm cutting hair is intentional. So when I leave some fringe, that's because I would like to manipulate the hair eventually. So kind of like if you pay attention to the back of the neck area, well, right above the nape, above the neck area at the occipital bone area, he has a dip, which it's a very hard and difficult space to reach in. So I have to cut at this against the grain as I blend the back of the taper. So as you can see, I established my bald guideline with the trimmer. I established my half with the clipper lever open, no guard. Then I threw a 1 guard on there with the clipper lever open. Then I eventually started to blend that in just to make sure that I'm digging right underneath that occipital bone. It's a really difficult area to reach, which you cannot get when you go against the grain with a bigger guard, which is the 1.5 that I wasn't able to get that, or when you go with the grain with a 1, which is not a low enough guard to go with the grain on the hair to get that space. So you have to go against the grain. Mind you, I always say I'm very unorthodox with how I go about my haircuts. This is why this isn't really a breakdown video. It's just me kind of sharing with you why you should keep your clients informed with if they do jump the chair and go to a different barber, what they should do, how they should talk to their barber, how they should inform them. Now, his mother, I love her. She's really dope. She's amazing. One of my favorite people in the world. They've been supporting me for some years now. I haven't seen them for some time. And mind you, this video is a bit old. It's been chilling, sitting for some time, but I saw it and I figured I'm gonna throw a voiceover on this. And I didn't do a really good job with the directions as far as visually showing you what I'm doing. I'm giving you a great presentation of executing a quick 20-minute service, but it was a bad job at me directing you with how I'm going about the lever control. So about that lever control, a lot of rookie barbers or just people that are not very well-rounded when it comes to what kind of clipper or what kind of trimmer you should use on the back of the neck, especially kids. Like as you can see, my man's jump chair. So you see those little scars? His mother had him go to somebody that's been tearing up his neck and he's scarred up. It's really upsetting to me because I don't even know what they were lining up at that space. Like, what were you doing? He doesn't even grow hair right there. At least I don't think so. But this is what happens. You go to somebody else and they dog you out. They don't care. They're using tools that don't need to be used in the neck. They're using stuff that doesn't need to go in the nape area. That's sensitive tissue. That's sensitive skin, rather, is what I'm trying to say. You shouldn't be going there with just anything. You're supposed to be real sensitive about what you use on people the same way you wouldn't want to use certain things. There's some people that do self-cuts on themselves and still don't understand the tools that they shouldn't use on the neck area or the nape, as well as the temples or the C-cup area on the sides. That's sensitive area. The cheek area on the bone of the cheek. If you have a beard or the mustache area, you should not be using certain tools. I don't care what it is, just because it's sharp. Don't use it. There's certain blades that are set up a certain way that you should not use on certain areas. We'll get into that on a whole nother video because you should be learning your shallow tooth blades compared to your deep tooth blades and some, because the more you just do whatever to people, the more likely you are to have terrible jobs being done on people. And I'm really upset about what they did to my man's neck. I can tell they've been doing that to him for some time. So I'm not sure how many times he went to that barber in particular, But not saying he's a bad barber. The cut that he had didn't look like it was horrible or anything. I don't know how long ago the haircut was, but he was scarred up pretty bad. So his mom allowed me to record this, and I never used it. It's been a year. It's just I figured that I'll do it now because eventually I'm going to phase out a lot of different tools that I'm not using anymore because they're just kind of sitting in the graveyard, pretty much the clipper graveyard, just chilling there. Now, I'm not saying I don't use my Babyliss. I use Babyliss every once in a while because they do come in handy for certain particular style haircuts or textures rather. But in this case, it's just more of an educational thing because I am fully converted and immersed deeply. I have been baptized into the SC and Gamma world now. That's what I'm all about. So I hope this video is helping you kind of get an idea of my cutting style, and my man's is definitely out of there. Mind you, we've only been going at this probably about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes rather. This video is sped up. It was I probably cut his hair for about 25 minutes tops, but I tried my best to kind of slow up with how I was going about it, just to show you these angles. Getting these angles on film is not easy, y'all. So for those of you who come on here and talk all that mess, I appreciate you supporting and watching. I'm glad you watched, at least you watched, that's more than enough for me. It makes me happy, so I'm pleased that somebody can actually watch my video and have something to say about it, whether it's negative or positive. But really, this is for the rookie barbers to learn, because I am just breaking down easy ways from a learning perspective, not cutting hair how I usually cut. But this is my style. It's just slowing it down to try to make you understand, or help you understand rather, is not easy. So give me a break. But anyway, whatever. Type away, keyboard thugs. it is what it is. I'm down for constructive criticism. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. I will try to correct it. Don't just dog me out. I'm a listener. I'm not just a know-it-all. I'm a listener. I learn from my mistakes. Look at that. Look at that burst taper. Look at that. It's fresh. I know y'all saw how I did that. Very easy. I can break this down for you in a whole nother video. I actually got a client that I'm trying to get in ASAP. He's been staying away for some time now. I'm trying to get him in for a burst taper, and I may throw a goatee in there because he has a goatee, so why not? I'll make sure we get that locked in and get that out there. But other than that, this taper is completed on both sides and on the back at the nape area. It is all done, and this thing is ready for a good old fresh, crispy, symmetrical lineup. My favorite part. I'm telling y'all, look, I get busy with the lineup. I don't care what nobody says, man. I'm surgical with it. They don't call me the doctor for no reason. I doctor the lineup all the way. Like, that's just my specialty. It's the way that I started cutting hair, and it's the last part to finish off the haircut. You can do different techniques that allow you to cut the hair and line up, or you can line up the hair then cut the hair, or you can cut the hair then line up before you taper or fade. It's a lot of different ways to slice this thing, but I'm just going to try to make sure I angle them up properly real quick. As you can see, I move this camera around. I'm horrible at it. I don't have a care in the world for how this looks. I just want you to receive the information for real, because I don't like edit cuts. I don't like doing edit cuts. Every time I do an edit cut, I have weird things happen. It's crazy, But anyway, look, I'm about to execute this lineup, show y'all what I'm rocking with here. I'm gonna bring out a Babyliss skeleton trimmer, of course. We're gonna work our way from the middle all the way out. As you can see, he has spaces on some parts of the hair lineup, but I'm gonna go ahead and overcorrect just a few spots, as well as on the back. You see where they scarred my man's up, man? That's crazy. But anyway, look, This lineup is going down. Simple techniques, holding the ears down, because I'm going to start off with the back first around the ear, then we'll work our way to the front, But yeah, let's get this in. If you didn't watch my help videos on how to go about holding the ears down for the lineups, definitely go and check those out. They were very helpful. There's definitely different ways you can go about this, but this is how you go about it on the right side. You can just tuck the ear down with your index finger on your cutting hand. You see what I'm doing? Just fold it down. Or you can use your other hand, but on the kids, you want to move fast and efficient, because kids don't stay long in one spot. They don't stay still. They don't stay fixed. Even some adults don't stay fixed, but with kids, you got to be quick. You can't be moving slow. You know what I'm saying? You angle them, talk to them, be forward. So for righties, this is a technique that you should use. Of course, hold down that ear, and if you gotta just use your index finger, go for it, just to move fast, because palming the head is definitely a must for kids, because kids move. They don't stay still forever. You gotta keep that palm on them. Or you can use the headrest. Now in this case, I just wanted to kind of get this done and get them out. I just saw an opportunity to where I can document some of this, and I recorded. I just hit the record button. His mother's all right with me recording, but as you can see, look at that, man. They sliced my man's up. Why? Like, that is crazy. What were you lining up anyway? That's wild to me. But yeah, anyway, move fast on the kids. If you gotta use the headrest, use the headrest. I'm gonna do a full kid service one day, showing you how to use the headrest, especially if your kid decides that they have given up on you and they just pass out. If kids pass out, you got to use the headrest. It's easier to cut their hair with them out anyway. In some cases, some kids try to fight sleep and they become zombies, just literally the Walking Dead, no lie. I'm talking about what, like, who stays up in the seat about to fall out, and gets right back up. That's crazy to me. But anyway, for the front part of the hairline, I'm going to use the headrest just to kind of give you an example of how that is done, or how you should do it. So starting off on the middle, I will work my way out into the vertical bars. Take your time about this. There's no rush. Don't rush it. Just move fast enough to where the kid can stand it and long enough to sit there and allow you to do your job. Then you work your way out into the vertical bar. Of course, like I said, angle the blades how you would like them to go, because before you do the C cup, you got to do the vertical bar. In some cases, you also have to do the C cup first before you do the vertical bar. It's just different methods for different types of head shapes or hair textures. Sometimes you may have to do the C cups first before you do the straightaway on the forehead part of the head or the vertical bars. It's just the way that goes. But other than that, yeah, this right side is pretty much completed. On your left side, for you who are viewing, that's completed. I'm going to move on to the other side. Let me angle this for you real proper so you can see what's going on. Like I said, I don't do edit cuts. I would love to do that, but look, you got to see what I'm doing here. Ain't no gimmicks going on over here. Okay, so you see that little hole right there? I kind of got to overcorrect that a little bit, because it's going to look a little bit off if I don't push into that. So we're going to have to do a little slight professional push. I'm going to just establish a little guide, and I'll slowly start to kind of go into that, just a little bolt, a little pop slightly. Then I will, get the line as straight as possible before I get that vertical bar. Then when I do get the vertical bar, just angle it in the direction that I need it to be, because this is vital stuff. You don't want to just be doing anything when it comes to the lineup. And if you are not on point, everything will look bad. You know, get that C cup in there, keep everything symmetrical, keep on looking on the other side, just making sure everything's matching up, even it out. That's exactly what I'm doing over and over, just slightly stretching at the skin. As you see me palming the head, I am stretching the skin slightly, not too dramatic, because you want to make sure you are getting that line in there comfortably and not aggressively to where you're welting or cutting the kid up like they did my man's in the back of his neck. That's crazy. I'm not gonna get over that. I just feel like that's a no-no. If you don't know what the tools are going to do when you place them on certain areas, you don't need to be aggressive with the blade. Now, sometimes some people, you just don't have to be that aggressive and they still welt or scar up. When they scar up, it's the worst. Welting goes away. Scarring up, on the other end, it's there for some time and it's not a good look. You know, it's eventually going to become permanent. There's some barbers that cut their own hair that have scars on certain areas of their head, and it is horrifying just to be a barber and seeing that. I feel their pain because they're just trying to be fresh, but they're burning themselves up by just going over and over on the same space over and over and over and over. That's crazy to me. But hey, what can you do? What can you do? You know? But this haircut's pretty much complete, y'all. This is the best that it's gonna get. I got my little man fresh. He's back in the game. Throw a little bit of some little slight details. I know some people are not a big fan of this part that I'm doing on kids, but hey, look, listen, we gotta get them fresh, all right? And this is all natural from just a little bit of water, which I spray water on the skin and the scalp just to dry out the hair, and of course, control it in the direction that I would like it to go, as well as, how do we say, get the skin just enough ash. It's perfect. You don't need holding spray. I mean, holding spray does its thing, don't get me wrong now, but it's just certain things you don't need holding spray for. So yeah, we got him in the game. It's fresh. My man's is pretty much ready to get up out of here. He's like, yeah, my guy, you got me fresh, but you know, all this video stuff, I'm kind of over it. He can't stand me. I know he can't. You know, that's one thing about my homie here. He could not stand me. There's times where I really piss him off and I got to tell him, hey, be quiet for a second, cause them to nod off or something like that. But anyway, hey, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, share this video, follow me on my different platforms. Catch y'all on the next one.